Don't you love spontaneity? I love spontaneity. Hello, everybody. For those of you watching live here in the room and some of you watching back in your cabins, I am Jason, your cruise host, and welcome to All Access Pass. Today, I am honored to sit with a legend, Mr. Peter Noone.
All Access Pass. I remember sitting in my cabin watching myself 300 times a day, saying, you need to lose 10 pounds, Mr. Noone.
The camera adds 10, though, so you're fine.
Right.
Yeah, it's just how many cameras were on you is the line. Yes, of course.
I don't know. I think they had the fat boy lens on, though, last time I was here.
We'll both say that. We'll both get off easy by telling each other that. First and foremost, thank you so much for being on Malt Shop.
I love this cruise. This is my favorite one. And, you know, I've done a few, but this one was always my favorite. I like the ship as well. This is a beauty, isn't it?
It is.
And the same old people show up, you know. I mean, last time I was on, I don't know if you remember, the last time it was nothing like this. It was just a bunch of old people showed up.
Yeah.
Nothing
they
like
all
this.
went. It's like Cocoon. They all went in the pool and came back a little bit. Yes.
The pool.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. I've got to ask first and foremost. Obviously, the whole world went through a pause, a shutdown for entertainment over COVID. What did you do during those that year and a half there when entertainment wasn't a thing?
You know, I didn't quit, but
thank God. Yeah.
You know, I was a real hermit for 2 years. I had to stay in my room, and when I got a little bit ill, nobody was sure what was going on. So, like, I had to live on pizza because that was the only thing they could shove under the door. It was kind of like being in prison, but I think I needed some time to think about whatever's next. And remember, none of us knew what was next.
Exactly.
But I've always been Panglossian, naively optimistic, and I knew it was all going to come back. I didn't know who'd be in it.
Yeah.
But I knew I'd be part of whatever happened in the future, you know. So I think that was, and I've always said to my agent, 10 more years. Every time I hang up the phone with my agent, I say 10 more years. And I've been doing that for like 20 years already. And yesterday I spoke to him, Howie, and I said, Howie, 10 more years. And he said, are you really sure you still want 10 more years? I said, you know, my dad is Mick Jagger.
Yeah.
He's still going. I'm going to go as long as him. If he starts to falter, I go, oh, okay, maybe 9 more years.
That's the indicator. That's your opportunity to pull it back.
So what the pandemic did was I set up, I decided, I can tell you because you're my friends, but
we're friends.
What happened was I found we had 108 concerts that were scheduled to play, and I refused to let them be cancelled or postponed. I said, we're going to use the word rescheduled, just put another date on it, and that way the people who've paid for the tickets, the promoter can keep that money until we play the show, which kept a lot of promoters in business. If everybody had done that, you know, that's optimistic saying, hey, you know, this may come back and it'll be better than ever, and look at this. Sold out. So I set up a Facebook Live thing, and I reorganized, because all the 108 concerts had all had 100 CDs and 5,000 triple extra large T-shirts shipped. And,
not for you, not this ship.
No,
the land people, not sea people.
There were men's.
Yes, men's. Yes.
Yeah. So what can I do? So I opened up a shop on Facebook. And I would sign autographs live in my Facebook Live, and people would come in and they'd go, hey, how you doing? And it meant, hey, he's still alive. And I would say, during the thing, hey, you're in Jacksonville, Florida. We're going to be in Jacksonville, Florida. And it was kind of a new way to promote the fact that Herman's Hermits, starring Peter Noone, we're still alive and we're still going. You know, some of them are really shaky up there on stage, you'll see. You know, some of them need to, like, get pushed out there on a scooter. But I'm talking about my guys. I'm not talking about the other people on the cruise.
Just the hermits, you see.
Just the hermits, yeah.
Just the hermits.
Because when they were in the cave on their own, their wives didn't give them good pizza. They gave them all kinds of fat,
take and bake
cheeseburgers,
yeah.
How's the food on this one?
Lovely.
All
Absolutely
right.
Look around. I mean, these people aren't missing meals. Look at this.
I love it. I love
I don't
the
mean
food.
that rudely. I mean, we're all of us. We're hitting the buffet pretty hard. Like, yeah,
Good.
We warned them ahead of time. We said the 3 things you can't run out of are vanilla ice cream, prunes, and bread pudding. So
Prunes?
as long as
Prunes?
oh yeah.
Okay, that's your thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as we keep those stocked, I think we're in good hands.
I think cookie will do the trick. You know that.
So you flew down yesterday? Did you come down yesterday?
I flew down. Yeah, it was a long day out. I left home. I live in Santa Barbara. It's part-time. And I went Santa Barbara, Dallas. You know, you go all over the place.
Sure.
Some people went to Newark from Santa Barbara to come here. So I don't, you know.
Probably saved 10
I don't
bucks.
think that's a good travel agent.
Yeah, it's poor planning on that one.
Yeah. Anyway, I came here. I was in Santa Barbara. The day before, I was in Jacksonville, Florida. So I go all the way around and around because we call the Herman's Hermits operation, it's called hit and run. We can come here because we know that the equipment here is perfect. The crew, whatever you call crew, I don't know. The people who manage the sound and the lights
the technicians
are world class. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's very rare to, you know, we play 100 dates a year. It's very rare that they're as perfect as they are here. So we didn't need to bring any equipment. We just got our passports and our vaccination cards. And a couple of the guys got their extra hip replacements. And
a lot of cheeseburgers in the cave, yeah.
Yeah, you know, we used to get underwear thrown on stage at us all the time. And
now what is it?
Bigger.
Is that a parachute? No, it's just underwear.
What about this as a double act? The Smothers Brothers.
Yeah.
I'm Tommy.
You see what he does to me? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you came in yesterday. You got to spend the night. You're with us here, obviously, for 2 shows. Then you're back off. What's next for you? You fly back out tomorrow.
I'm going to Santa Barbara, and then I'm going to Philadelphia. No, excuse me, Detroit. When I say Detroit, I'm not playing in Detroit. That's where the nearest big city is. Because if you have to explain, I'm going to Wayne, New Jersey. They go, where is Wayne, New Jersey? I go, well, you go to Philadelphia and then you drive 9 hours into the New Jersey. So I'm playing in Warren, at a place called Andiamo, which is this great kind of nightclub thing. People eat food while you're singing and everything. You know what I mean? And then after that, we're playing in somewhere near Philadelphia. I know I'm flying to Philadelphia, and we just go round and round and round. And it doesn't sound glamorous, but I am. I should explain this because I'm sure many people here feel the same way. Every time I leave my house to go to a concert, it's another adventure, and I go, how come you started doing this when you were 13?
Yeah.
Surely it's going to get tired. You're going to get tired of it. I just love going and traveling and meeting new people. And, you know, I saw a guy come as I was coming in, and he goes, I never see Dion. And he goes, and I go, well, he doesn't want to meet people like you. And he wasn't offended because if you say rude things with an English accent, you can get away with it.
Allow me to interject. My favorite moment with Peter, we were on the 60s cruise. I don't know if you remember this. My wife and I, Brittany, we were walking with Peter up the stairs after an event, taking him back wherever we were going, probably back to your cabin to drop you off. And 2 lovely young ladies walk by, and they go, oh, Peter, will you take a picture for us? And he says, absolutely. Reaches out and takes their camera, shoots a picture of the 2 of them. I'm not making this up. Hands the camera back and says, have a lovely day, and starts... We get about 2 levels up, and he stops and looks at Brittany and I and go, oh, I suppose they meant with me.
You know...
we just kept going.
You got to have fun. And you know, because I've got an English accent, I found that sometimes... I mean, I wasn't being rude to the guy. I was actually, you know, if I was Dion, I wouldn't want to meet you. And then the guy says to me, can we do a selfie? And I say... That's why you don't see Dion. Because people like you don't just want to hang and say, oh, I love you. You know, there's nothing better for an entertainer, for somebody to come up to you and just say, you know, I just want to say, you know, I bought all your records when I was a kid, and thank you for the music or something. That is the most rewarding thing. And if, you know, I was with Paul McCartney once. Name
drop.
dropping. Yeah,
Name
yeah,
drop.
yeah.
That's a big one. We'll pick that up later.
Actually,
That was heavy.
I wasn't actually with him. I was standing behind him.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah.
And he was in a
Exactly.
he was in a place buying a toothbrush in London. And it was kind of early days for the Beatles, and they lived behind Oxford Street. All of them at the time lived in a place behind Oxford Street. And he was in a massive Boots the Chemist, which is like, you know, CVS Walgreens.
Boots
It's
is
like that
yeah,
big chain. And he's in there, and he goes up, and I'm standing behind him. I go, watch this. This is one of the Beatles in a shop. How can he do it? You know, you couldn't recognize him. But the woman said, you're Paul McCartney. And he goes, yeah, I am. And she said, could I get your autograph for my niece? See, it's never, in those days, it was never for them, you know, and it was for a niece. And he goes, sure. To Louise, Paul McCartney, and he did a little scribble on it. And I said, you know, Paul, I'm very impressed because, you know, you're just so personable and nice to people. And he goes, listen, you see that? It took exactly the same amount of time as if I'd have said, can't you see I'm eating dinner? You know what I mean? You can be Karen all the time. But he was, see what a great guy. And
kindness.
All of those, you know, one of the great things that no one ever says about the Beatles is they were really nice people, you know. Everyone says, oh, they were great musicians, they were genius. They were really nice people. They loaned us their gear because we were kids. We had crappy gear. And they said, you know, and they go, well, you've got a left-handed bass player. You can share our kit. Because we did have a left-handed bass, so the left-handed bass player, we could share the George and Paul mic. Because in the beginning, John Lennon was the lead singer. And bit by bit, Paul decided he wanted to be the lead singer.
As you do.
And then Ringo wanted to go. And then Mickey Dolenz wanted to go.
Well, Mickey always wants to go.
Yeah, really.
That's how Mickey works.
Yeah.
So you pretty much, I mean, I'm going to tag into that a little bit. You launched onto the scene at about 15 years old is when Herman's Hermits really kind of took off. And you had some wonderful, you and I have talked about this on stage before, you had some wonderful people helping lead you along the way and helping to keep you out of trouble. Some interesting characters. You told us a story one time about the Rolling Stones.
Oh, yeah. Well, I knew them because I knew the Stones because we had the same. Their producer and manager was called Andrew Oldham, and he was a really cool guy, and he did our publicity. And he was making Herman's Hermits the nice, clean-cut guys versus the Rolling Stones, who no mother would let them in the house. And we were... I mean, really, and it was a plan. And truthfully, the Stones are really nice guys, and they had to act. And I said, well, we're Herman's Hermits. We don't need to act like nice guys because we really are nice guys. One of the guitar players, his dad is a police officer. You know, the drummer's sister is a policeman. We can't get in trouble because we'll get beaten up because in those days you could beat up kids. Yeah. So I was in New York and we'd done you know what happened was we'd done the Ed Sullivan Show and the Stones had Satisfaction. We had Henry VIII, and Henry VIII was number one. And they were the next week was going to be Satisfaction, but they were in the same hotel. And we went on the roof of this thing. I think it was on Lexington Avenue, and there was a parking lot roof, and literally there were thousands of boys and girls. Everybody thinks it was all girls in those days, boys and girls, and they were singing "I'm Henry VIII, I am," and I tell you the audience on the roof with me was Tom Jones and 2 or 3 of the Stones and Andrew Oldham. Who were all there for the Ed Sullivan Show, by the way. So
it's another name.
So, well, Tom Jones is my friend, so I can mention him all the time. So, I had a few drinks. I used to think it was a competition, and that I would always win. And they always ran out before I was finished. They always ran out of booze. I wonder if this ship could run out of booze.
I mean,
ask Mickey Dolenz.
Yeah.
So,
Flower Power Cruise
so
reference.
I was a little bit shaky.
We call the Martini Bar Mickey's Martini Bar on the Flower Power Cruise. We love him to death. Just
right, so in this party, it was all a bit Andy Warhol kind of that. I don't like people like that. I never wanted to hang around with people smoking dope because the girls were in the other room. And I thought, I'll leave all these guys discussing the future of the universe, and I'll go and talk to their girlfriends about sex and stuff like that.
Stuff like that.
How do you do it? Yeah. And so I'm in the other room. There's a lot of pot smoking going on in there. But I'm not doing it because I'm talking to...
Their girlfriends.
Exactly. Yeah. They were their girlfriends as well. They were much older than me, but I think I had a shot. You know, they're all like 20, and when you're 16, you're completely bewilderingly stupid, but I always thought I had a shot.
That's the beauty of being bewilderingly stupid, yeah.
Yeah, really.
Charm will get you over.
So afterwards, I've had a lot to drink, so obviously I've become irresistible to all women.
Clearly, yeah.
Two beers and I'm already irresistible.
Just ask you, yeah.
So and I go to, because I'm a bit under the weather. Is that what you call it?
Sure.
Shit-faced. So...
Yeah, under the
so
table.
I go into the stairwell, and I'm sitting on the stairs like this, and Andrew Oldham and Keith Richards come in, and Keith says, if we ever find out you're doing drugs, we're going to find you, and we're going to beat your face in. Okay.
How would you like to be warned by Keith Richards, of all humans? Do
great.
as I say. Not as I do. Yeah.
You know, and I looked at him and I thought, okay, but I'll wait a few years until you get a bit shaky, and then I'll come and knock you out.
I'll wait till you can't catch me. Yeah.
You know, I'm a fan of all these people. I got to tell you, the most amazing luck that you could ever get is to have a hobby. My hobby was music. I had the best record collection when I was a kid, all American records. I only bought American records. Got all Dion's records. I even had Chubby Checkers. I had everybody's records.
He brought them to get them signed, so it's...
Yeah. And
just gotta
I
get
loved music. I loved music, and I would be in my room, and I'd play... And my sister had a record collection. She'd be playing It's My Party and Leslie Gore and I'm Sorry, So Sorry. You know, things that girls like. But I was into rock and roll, Runaway, and I'm the kind of guy who likes to walk around, you know, all that stuff. And then one day, I go to this... It was called, in England, in the period, everybody's mum and dad worked. There's a period where everybody's mum and dad worked, if you had a dad. So in my neighborhood, the government set up these things called youth clubs. And you would go after school, instead of going home or going out on the street and getting in trouble, you went to this place called the youth club. So I'm going to this youth club, and I'm not going there for the band, the music, or anything. I'm going there to take a good look at Gaynor Wilkinson and Angela Denner and Margaret Vasey. Those are the three girls that, I was 13.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was important. I still remember their names.
Clearly, yeah.
Yeah.
10 years later.
61 years later, yeah. So I want to look at them closer. And
closer. Proximity's important.
Gives another look.
Yeah.
So I'm in there, and this guy comes over, and he goes to me, "You're Peter Noone, aren't you?" And I said, "Yeah." You know, I'm all afraid. He said, "You know any of these songs?" And it's not a set list, it's a bit of paper with a load of hundreds of songs on it. And I looked at it, and I go, "I know every one of these songs. Is it a quiz or something?"
Yeah.
And he goes,
"Just name that tune?"
No, I know.
Yeah.
He said, "Okay." He said, our singer, Malcolm Lightfoot, I remember his name as well,
yeah.
the singer Malcolm Lightfoot had failed to show up for this gig, this concert, and they asked me to sit in for him. And I went on stage, and I thought I could hide behind the microphone stand. I was about 100 pounds.
That skinny.
And I was so afraid of it. And, you know, and I got this song, I'll show you. I was standing on the stage, and I was like, and I didn't know what to do with my hands, so I put one of my hands in here like Napoleon. And I don't know what to do. And I'm really scared, really, really scared. But I find, you know, the songs are all like Buddy Holly songs. Can't you? Easy songs for me to sing. And I know all the words. And then they say, somebody shouts out, "I'll never dance again." You know, and it's a song. I'll never dance again. So I go, my soul was swaying to the beat of your heart. And all three of those girls stopped talking and went, that I'd connected.
Yeah.
They were not.
That's all that.
They said, oh, now I wasn't Peter Noone, that little idiot who keeps harassing us. Now I was like the rock star in my head. I got Angela Denner. I got to go with her. It was a short goal, but, you know, when you're a kid...
Well, yeah. Show us again. So that was the moment.
And
that was
know,
it.
Yeah,
you knew it at that point.
And it was my hobby.
Yeah.
And I found that every time they'd call me to say, can you do, like, Flixton's? Yeah. Yeah, now I just love being in music, and I'd been an actor, and I found that musicians were a lot more fun than actors. They weren't quite so stiff, I don't know.
Serious.
Or silly. You know,
3 S's.
Yeah, it was more, you know, I went to School of Music, and when I looked through this window, and we were doing, Calm your bed. We were doing, like, teaching us to be opera singers, which none of us were going to be. I got kicked out of that class.
The biggest vibrato you could ever create.
Yeah. You go, calm your bed. She kicked me out of that class. I gave her my first gold record as well.
Yeah. You sent it back to her?
Yeah.
Said,
I
thank
took
you.
it back. So I was in this, and I looked through the window, and there were the guys in there, and they were going. So I said, what are they doing? And Eunice Whitfield says, Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry? What's Chuck Berry? I've got all his records. And I go, what are you doing? What is that? And they go, oh, look, man, you just get a guitar and you bar a chord like this. And you go, woo, with your little finger. You want to go? Yeah, give it a go. I can do this. He said, and if you move it up 1, up 2, and then up another 2, you can play every record on the radio. I said, we just those 3 chords. Well, some people, like Dion, have 4 chords in one of their songs.
Fancy.
Posh,
if you will.
So, you know, I was in a band, and then because I'm like a workaholic, I think, and because I apparently seemed to be enjoying myself so much, we quickly became popular, and we were always, a lot of the people who joined Herman's Hermits, when I said, who was in the band? I can't remember. Everybody was claiming to be an original in this band. Who was the original? And he goes, I'm original. I said, when did you join? He said, I joined when the bricklayer guy, we had Alan Chadwick, who could carry a hod. He was a big guy, but he could get a thing with bricks on it like that. And he could climb up a ladder and put the bricks up to another guy who did the brick thing.
The brick.
So
the brick thing.
Yeah.
It's close enough.
I was impressed.
But
he left the band because he was making more money.
Bricklaying.
Yeah, bricklaying, than being in this band. So Keith Hopwood, who joined the band, who is like a genius, he's the person who played Mrs. Brown, Who Got a Lovely Daughter, which is not easy to play. And so he joined the band, and I said, well, when you joined, why did you join? He said, you had like 100 dates on the sheet. Nobody in Manchester and Liverpool had 100 dates, just the Beatles and the Undertakers and the Escorts, and I wasn't good enough to be in any of those bands. So it immediately got going, and we always work. There's a great story. I'm putting together this thing called the Peter Noone Collection, which is kind of everything from the very beginning until whatever is the end. And, you know, TV.
10 more years.
Yeah, 10 more years and fill it up, yeah. So we've been looking for stuff for this Peter Noone Collection, and people come with pictures of things that you don't even remember. Lots of things I don't remember being at. You know, crimes. And
no pictures? You weren't there.
Yeah, so we, from the Honolulu thing, and he goes, Peter Noone yesterday, met his favorite all-time hero, Elvis Presley. And Peter Noone is Herman from Herman's Hermits. And there was a picture of me and Elvis and Tom Parker and Tom Moffat. Peter Noone is Elvis Presley's biggest fan. And he's on a 360-day world tour. But on his day off, he met Elvis Presley. That's what he chose to do on his day off to meet. It's kind of a compliment. And I said, can you believe he was so stupid? that we did 360-day tours. And we never asked how much money we were getting paid. We didn't ever think to. We got a record contract, and I was 15. And I said, I'll sign it. I didn't want to read it.
It's too much work.
I'll sign it. I said, well, your dad's going to have to sign it because you're not 21. And I said, okay, Dad signed this. He looked at it. He'd never seen a recording contract. Yeah. Well, I mean, we didn't care. Nobody who made it ever looked at the contract before they made it.
No.
You see Michael Caine. Michael, how could you do a movie like The Swarm? How could you even do it? That is the worst movie anybody ever made. You came off this one, and in the middle you did The Swarm. He goes, Peter, I didn't read the script. I saw the number that they were going to pay for me, and I just showed up. So, we were the opposite of that. We just we'd go everywhere. They'd say, do you want to go to the Philippines? Yeah! We didn't know whether we were going to get paid or how far it was. We just wanted to go to the Philippines.
But you knew you were going.
Yeah, and we went.
Where did you go that shocked you, and in terms of how the fandom?
It happened later on. A lot of American fandom was nice.
Intense, yeah.
Because we'd seen the Beatles had done this Hard Day's Night thing where they ran away from girls.
Yeah.
And then Dave Clark 5 were next, and they said, let's make a movie where we run away from girls. And that was Catch Us If You Can. Meanwhile, the Beatles were making another movie called Help, and all they did in Help was run away from girls. So he said, let's be different. We'll slow down for the fit ones. And we slowed down, and we're never good at running.
Just fast enough.
Yeah, just fast enough to lose the.
Yeah.
So everywhere we went, it seemed to get better. We arrived. Later on, it got really weird. So we get a gig in China. Prince Charles, now King Charles. Prince Charles has opened this place called the Wan Chai Cultural Center in Wan Chai province. I don't even know where it is. We flew to Hong Kong, and then you get in a car and you go and you look out the window and you go, I'm in China. This is great. So we get to this place. There are 800 Starbucks in this town. And there's the cultural center. And we get in the car, and now we see outside the sun.
Next to the Starbucks.
The cultural center. And it says, welcome to China, Herman's Hermits. I'm into something good. There's a kind of hush. Love potion number 9. So the promoter's there, and I go, excuse me, Love Potion number 9, that's the Searchers. I got the record, it's Tony Jackson singing. We don't do that song. Panic.
You better learn it.
I said, it's not ours, it is you. Bless you, I said. No, I said, it is you.
You handed him a tissue. Yeah.
And he gets out his iPhone. Everybody had a phone. And he gets out his phone and he types in iTunes and Spotify, all the different things. And it says, Love Potion number 9, Herman's Hermits. It's one of those errors. And I go look at it. And it's also got Do Wah Diddy, which is Man from Men. So I say,
very successful period for you, yeah.
So we're panicking. We're panicking, the band. And we said, we'll learn it. So we go in the dressing room. It's not that difficult a song, but everybody has to begin it and end it at the same time. So you need a rehearsal. So
the train wreck that happens.
Rehearsing, and we're going on stage, and I'm telling you, we are dying a death beyond. It's never happened. Maybe at a bar mitzvah in 1961.
Pay the rent.
and we're there, and we don't have any songs that appeal to this audience. You go, walk up. The ones on the door, outside. Everybody's looking at us like we're aliens, and they don't like us. You can see that they don't like us. And I shout out, Love Potion number 9. And the band go into Love Potion number 9. Pandemonium. It's not even our song, but that's what they were there to hear. They were there to hear, I took my trouble down to man. And, Tony Jackson sang it way up there.
Quite high, yeah.
So, what's really funny is we still do it.
You do?
It's still in the show because it went so great.
Are you doing
Every
it
time
tonight?
I sing it? Yeah, I'm going to do it twice tonight.
So that's your key. When you hear Love Potion #9, pretend it is his biggest hit and go bananas in the crowd, please.
It was so weird because a real riot began. You know, it was like the Stones, you know, just a complete, everybody changed their thing. They were all... so weird.
So,
and it's not really a rock song, you know. It doesn't really
not the rockiest of
you
songs.
You don't pogo to that one, do you?
Probably not. So I know you have 2 shows for. I know we got to get you out of here because we got to get you down.
I'm
there.
enjoying this. I haven't seen this many people.
Listen, I agree, but I'd also love to see 2 great shows tonight, which
I'm going to do my best.
Yeah, I'd like to be a part of that. Anything you want to tell the folks about tonight's shows here for the Malt Shop crowd?
Every time I've been, you know, I saw some of the entertainers who've been on the ship for a few days, and they all told me, this is unusual, they all told me, like Gary Lewis said, the best audience I ever played to in my life. I said, you don't play much, do you, these days? No, but he said that, and I found that every time, because, you know, when you do a concert, it's such a weird thing. When you do a concert, see, when we started out, nobody in the audience was there to see us.
You guys were opening or being,
You know, you played at the Cavern and things like that, and it was hard to catch people's attention because you were surrounded by greatness. You know, so everybody did the same songs and everything. But you get in a situation like this, everybody here knows the songs. You don't have to. This may take a minute. You don't have to have bought the record to know all the words to a song.
Sure.
Because once upon a time, all of us here had this wonderful thing called a DJ that we liked, and we had a radio station, and whether it was Cousin Brucey or Madman Jack
Jerry
or whatever
Blavat.
it was, you believed him. And if he liked the record, you would play it. The artist hoped you would buy it. But in my case, we didn't make records for any other reason than to get them on the radio. And when they stopped getting on the radio, we stopped making records because that's the kiss. Because 1 million people bought I'm Henry VIII I Am, for example. No, maybe 10 million people bought that, but 1 billion people know it.
Yeah.
And they come to a concert and they go, oh my, I didn't know he recorded
I didn't know that was him. Yeah.
Sometimes we
Play Love Potion.
We did we did a grassroots song, and people go, oh, I didn't know he recorded that. Yeah, it was on an album, and we hit it.
68.
But we do this bit, you know, quickly. Yep. So in the show sometimes, I don't know if we're going to do it tonight, but we do Bus Stop because it was recorded first by Herman's Hermits on our first album, which was unusual. Our first album was called The Best of Herman's Hermits.
Because it was going to be the only one, you understand. Yeah, that's the...
We had the very best of the follow-up.
Yeah.
And we do songs on there that we couldn't make them into hit singles. So we gave this song Bus Stop to the Hollies because they were our friends and they had a #1 record with it in the world. We never spoke to them again.
I wouldn't either.
No. But, you know, we do stuff like that in the show because what we do, boys and girls, is we got 300 songs that we know. Isn't that amazing? Including Love Potion #9, by the way. But we do 300 songs, and I don't know which ones we're going to do because if you look at the look on the face of the Herman's Hermits chaps, it looks like enthusiasm.
It's not.
It's fear.
Fear.
Because they think that I know what I'm doing. And I don't have a set list. I have things around to remind me, but we never follow it. You know, I say, let's do a Davy Jones song. You know what I mean?
You're trying to count them. You're trying to count them in. They don't even know. What are you counting right now? What is this?
No, I let the drummer count.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know, my timing isn't good. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything would be too fast. Yeah.
Heard that. I tell you what. Easy. Let it go. We've got to get this man down to get his sound check finished because we have 2 wonderful shows planned for you tonight. So do me a favor as we wrap this up. Please help me thank the fantastic Peter Noone for being a part of today's All Access.
Thank you, everyone.
We love you. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll see you at 6:30 and 9 o'clock tonight.
6:30, 9 o'clock.
I'm Little Anthony from Little Anthony and the Imperials. Join me on the Malt Shop Memories Cruise.
The Malt Shop Memories Cruise is heading back out to sea in 2023. This is going to be one party you won't want to miss. You'll see live performances by rock and roll's biggest stars, including The Temptations, Little Anthony, Jay and the Americans, The Lettermen, Al Jardine, founding member of the Beach Boys and his Endless Summer Band, the Bronx Wanderers, Peter Asher, the Vogues, the Skyliners, the Contours, the Elegants, the Reflections, Linda Gale Lewis, sister of Jerry Lee Lewis, Bobby Wilson, Winter Dance Party, the Everly Set, celebrating the Everly Brothers, of course our main man, MC extraordinaire Jerry Blavat, and many more surprises to be added. We're sailing back to the best era in music, October 28th to November 4th, 2023, on Holland America Line's New Amsterdam, leaving Fort Lauderdale and making ports of call in Aruba and Curacao. Pack your favorite poodle skirts and Letterman jackets and get ready to relive your favorite memories while creating unforgettable new ones. All the live music, the dancing, the Q&As and interviews, and all the fun you're experiencing this week will be back next year for 2023's greatest rock and roll party at sea. Don't forget, as a valued 2022 guest, you're eligible for the lowest cabin pricing for next year's cruise, but it's only available when you book on board during this trip, so don't wait. Our friendly sales staff members are located in the Hudson Room on Deck 3 this week and are happy to assist you with your 2023 reservation. The Malt Shop Memories Cruise just keeps getting better and better, so be sure to join us in 2023.
Don't miss the boat.